YouTube lovelies, welcome back. It is now February of 2020. Oh my gosh, we are now 2 months in. Can you believe that? So today's YouTube episode is all about the confessions. So we're going to title this one, These Are My Confessions. I want to just take a little bit of time to talk to you guys about how I got to where I am right now. We can't do the entire thing because then, we're just going to be here forever. So let's just talk about 2019, 2018. That's where we're going to stick to. And we're going to do These Are My Confessions, 2018, 2019, Confession 1. My plans went sideways. Yep, my plans went sideways. So you can plan to do a whole bunch of things, but once it gets time to do it, it all depends on what happens. So my plans went sideways. So I thought I was going to open a business 2018, but that didn't happen. This is the story. You know when you get into your car and all your thoughts start coming to you, ideas and things you want to accomplish and things that are happening, and then you start thinking about all the things that you've been through and where you are now. I have to say 2020 is definitely my year. I thought for sure it was going to be 2019 at one point because things were starting to happen at that point. And then I even thought in 2018 that things were going to be happening for me in that year, but God saw it fit that He's just like, no, there's still more growing to do. There's still more repositioning that needs to happen. 2018, I finished school in event management at Algonquin College, and I thought for sure that I was going to start a business or start working with a company, and while I'm working with that company, I would start a business. I came out of that program having no desire to go into that field. I started thinking of all the things and reasons why it just would not be suitable for me anymore. But I still had it in the back of my mind that I wanted to open an event management company. Until I started really thinking about it, and I came to the place where I'm just like, no, I need to do music first, and everything else will fall into place. I need to answer the call that God has placed on my life, and everything else will come into place. Confession number 2. 2 years, not 1, 2 years of unemployment. First year, when I got laid off, I had to figure out what I was going to do because your girl just don't like not working. And so what happened was I decided that, okay, I'm going to take this time to go back to school, do the program that I wanted to do, which was event management. It was a 1-year intensive, so from 2017 to 2018, that's what I was doing. So that was my first year of being unemployed, so I went back to school. My second year, as I stated before, I wanted to open my own business in event management and do that, or work with a company while I opened my business. But I came out and I had absolutely no desire to do that. What I came out of school having a desire to do was music. I really wanted to start working on music, doing stuff in music, just getting out there, and being present again, and just being still. Every time that I was like, no, I need to start working, I need to find a job, I would either get sick to my stomach, anxious, or just couldn't muster up the know-how to do it. I'm just like, this is weird. Anytime that I want to get a job, I always knew what I wanted to do it in, and I just go for it and seek out where I wanted to be. went through the process, got hired, bam, I'm working. That entire year, nothing. But the good thing is that due to my living situation, I was able to not have to run to any job. And I was able to really listen to what God is saying, and just being still. That year, 2018, when I graduated from the event management program, because it was a 1-year intensive, a lot happened for me in that year in regards to movement, in regards to a lot happened for me in that year in regards to movement. It was, are you going to stay here and die, or are you going to move on into what I have for you? And God showed me so much in that situation, in that vision, that I had to, in the end, say, no, I'm going to take that leap of faith and I'm going to go. And for 2 months, I stayed in limbo, or more like 2.5 months, because I didn't actually start going back to a church until September. And so that decision was made about end of June. No, it was made about mid-June when I graduated, and it was really finalized about the beginning of July. And so for 2 months, I was not going to a church. I was simply worshiping at home. I was simply resting, thinking, praying, just trying to be as obedient to what God was calling me to do or asking me to do as possible. Not knowing what it was or what it was going to look like. God is so amazing. He speaks to you in so many different ways, through music, through people, through a sign, through, like, when I say a sign, I mean like signage on the road, through different things. Once you're talking to him and you're asking him questions and you're pleading with him, he will answer you. You just need to be open to listening to him. And so in that time was when I was staying home, I was praying, I was worshiping, I was doing my devotions on Sundays. I would just be at home, just listening to music and worshiping, listening to worship music and just worshiping. And this Saturday, I was driving by. We came up to the stop sign. We got caught at a stop sign at Viewmont and Fisher. And usually I just go straight past through this light. But for some odd reason this day, it was a full out stop at the light. And I turned to the left. And I mean, I have seen this church so many times. I've even gone there for different events for years. But this time I turned and I looked. And it says, belong, believe, become. And the one part of that stood out to me so blaringly was the become. And I literally sat there at the lights going, become. And for the next few weeks, I think it was like a week and a half or so, it just kept plaguing me. It just kept plaguing me. Become. And mind you, I was in a season where I wasn't being used the way how God needed me to be used in my giftings, and I felt like I was dying in that area. You know when you get a craving for something that you haven't had in a while? I had one of those. I had a deep craving to be in community again, to be in fellowship again. And I mean, I was like, okay, I need to go. I need to figure out a way to get to this church. I need to find out what time this church started. And so I was like, do I know anybody that goes there? And something reminded me of someone who did go there. So I called them and I said I wanted to come by for that block party thing, but I wasn't able to because things didn't work out. They're like, no way. I would invite you to come to Sunday service, but I know that you attend another church because we're having our unveiling, because they did renovations and everything for their church. And I said, actually right now I'm looking for a church so I can come and visit. Told me what time. I ended up getting there earlier than expected. Mind you, I live in the far east of Ottawa and this is in Nepean. And for me to get up and head over there that early, that was a whole situation with itself, especially the space that I was in. So, long story short, I started going. I went in that Sunday, and let me tell you, everything that I prayed about, I just kept seeing. I kept seeing a church that was hungry for God. I also saw that there was a glass ceiling where there could be more freedom in the church for worship. But I'm not going to tell you any lie. The worship was still amazing. The way how it was organized, the way how it was delivered, the spirit that moved in that house, the freedom that I felt to worship, but realizing that there could be more freedom amongst the congregation in worship. And let me tell you, I was floored. During the service, there were so many things that kept bothering me. From the moment I walked into the building to sitting down, I tried to worship. Things were just bothering me over and over and over again. And I'm just like, God, what is going on? I've been here before. It's not like this is brand new. Stop playing with God. The minister who preached that day was the youth minister, and he was giving his testimony as well about how he was in a job and God opened the doors for him to be in this position full time. And I'm telling you, the message that he preached, there was a part in there that he was like, stop playing with God. You know where you're supposed to be serving. You know what you're supposed to be doing. You know what God has called you to do. Stop playing with God. And let me tell you, at that moment, whatever disturbance that was in my spirit left, and I perked up. It was like a whoop type situation, and it was just, okay, I get it. I hear you, God. I get it. And literally, I wanted to get up and fly out of there, but this time around, it was like something was holding me in my seat because I needed to finish hearing what God had to say. And I left that service wanting to call the church and speak to the directors of the music department to let them know that I am 100% in. I have made up my mind. That's where I'm supposed to be. But I had to wait until the following Sunday. The following Sunday, I went in. I asked to speak to the leader. She said, sure. And because of how serious I came, she was worried. She had that worried look on her face, like, what's going to happen? And needless to say, when I gave her the news, she was overjoyed. To this day, I still tell her that the joy that she showed to me, I felt like it was, I don't know. I felt like it was way over the top to what I told her. But I'm the type of person where I respond like that to news that makes me overjoyed. So I'm still at this church, and I am becoming who God has called me to be. I am being used in the way that He wants me to be used. And when I say use, I don't mean in a negative sense of the word. I mean, He is using my gifts. I am being used in my purpose. I am walking in my purpose. For years, I did not realize that my purpose was to worship and to worship lead and to be a worship leader. And it was because of the sheer fact that I doubted myself. I did not believe that I was good enough, or so many things, so many negative thoughts. But thank God that He is a God that doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. And He has done so much in the past year. I'm telling you that since I made that decision 2018, September of 2018, to walk into that church and to become a part of that church, my life has changed drastically. Within a couple of months, I was asked to be a part of the worship. Within a couple of months, not be a part of the worship team, because I was a part of the worship team, but they asked if I could step into the position of the worship leader that was going on maternity leave. And God had shown me that whatever it was that the pastor wanted to talk to me about, that it would be good and that it would bring tears to my eyes. I'm giving you guys bits and pieces of the story. But when he asked me, I literally broke down in his office and I cried, because not just 7 months before that, somebody else told me that what God, the visions and the promises that God has for me is going to die unless they were accomplished under their leadership. But God. 7 months later, I was offered the position of creative music director to fill in for a year. And I was overjoyed, because it was the starting of a realization that God was truly calling me to do this. That year, the past few months have been absolutely amazing. I have grown in so many ways musically. I've grown in so many ways as a person. I want to say thank you to the team for how they supported me. Thank you so much. Thank you to the pastors who were on staff. Thank you to Sarah, who I was filling in for, who on her maternity leave did not leave me, not one bit. She literally was there for me, answering my questions, supporting me, being encouraging. And I mean, without her, without God, without my belief in the fact that God really called me to this, I would still be at a place where I was dying. I would have probably been just struggling hard right now. But in everything, I give God thanks, because I'm moving into a new chapter, and I cannot wait to share with you guys what is going to be happening in 2020 for me. I end this position March 11th, and God, He constantly goes before me to open doors. So now I am becoming, I'm where I'm supposed to be. I know that I'm where I'm supposed to be, and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So please stay tuned. 2020 is going to be an amazing year. There is so much that I want to share with you guys right now, but I have to wait. So come back for the next monthly video. Who knows, in between then you guys might see a vlog or two pop up on the channel, because I did say that this year I wanted to start vlogging. I have started to. It's just I need to balance out my time so that I can edit all of those videos so that I can start posting them. But I have been doing some amazing things, some fun things, hanging out with friends, traveling, doing some inner city stuff where I get to do reviews about different things. This year is going to be an amazing year. All that God has shown me that my life is, what's going to happen with my life, all the stuff that I want to do just to be living and to be alive. It's happening. So stay tuned, and I will see you guys on the flip side.
Your love is devoted, like a ring of solid gold, like a vow that is tested, like a covenant of old. And your love is enduring through the winter rain and beyond your horizon, with mercy for today. Faithful you have been, and faithful you will be. You pledge yourself to me, and that's why I sing. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips.